morning, sports fans, and welcome. Welcome. It's Monday, guys. We used to say, thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Monday. Welcome to another edition of the First Family of Vegas Daily Free Picks Winning Show. That's right, guys. The First Family of Vegas show is coming to you every weekday on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, joined by some of the world's best documented handicappers and biggest sports bettors. It's brought to you by the best. Let me repeat it one more time, the best. You are the best website in the business on the planet. Your one-stop sports betting shop, SportsMemo. My friends, we're going to be releasing free pick winners, some great betting insights, and have a few laughs too. So join us each weekday so we can improve your bankroll. We've got a good show today. Guys, it's a very intimate show. All right. Now, normally you don't want intimacy from me and the guy who's going to be joining the panel, but trust me, you're going to love this Monday show. Let me bring him on, my good buddy, the Professor Dan Kaiser. Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Doing good, Joe. What's it with these young guys? If they can't handle the weekend now, what are they going to do when they get to our age?
What are they going to do? I got to tell you, man, these young guys, it reminds me, Dan, I'll be honest, man. I've always been, from the time I was 13 years old, I earned money. I'm not going to kid. I didn't have lemonade stands and newspaper routes like most kids did. I grew up in the inner city in Little Italy. I sold fireworks in the summer, took my first arrest when I was 11. That's true. They arrested me, and they were going to throw me in the cage at the 5th Precinct. They scared me. They tried to scare me. We grew up in that neighborhood. Everybody sold fireworks right down the block from the 5th Precinct. This is no BS, guys. We did other things to make money. I can tell you the things we did are, I don't want to say they're victimless crimes, but we didn't hurt people. But trust me, a lot of things fell off the back of the truck in that neighborhood. A lot of other things occurred, but I was always an earner. But I always went to work, dude. Because I always felt if I'm going to party, at least these kids today, they don't know what partying is. First of all, Dan, I want you to know I was a pretty good football player. I was a great baseball player, excellent boxer, excelled at baseball, hockey, boxing. As you know, I won 3 gold gloves. I was the national karate champion. I will tell you this, Dan. We played a game in high school. We always had a private school champion, a public school champion. I was a quarterback. By the way, they listed me in high school at 5'10", 5'11". I will tell you this. They listed me back then. I mean, even probably I was starting varsity when I was a sophomore. So I could tell you this. I was shorter than I am now. And I'm only about maybe if I exhale and have good posture, I'm 5'7". But I will tell you, Dan, they always had a private school and a public school champion. They came up one year with, hey, let's have them play together so we have one city champion. So I can tell you this. The game was on a Saturday. I went out partying Tuesday. I went out partying Wednesday. I went out partying Thursday. I went out partying Friday. So back in those days, I want to tell you what we did to party. This is in senior year, 17. Yeah, just 69. I was still 17 before I turned 18. And I can tell you, I went 4 or 5 days without sleep. When I pulled to the stadium, I got dressed outside my car. I was still up from the night before and then from the days before. I put my pants and everything on and went out to the field, went out to the sideline to find out my best wide receiver was injured and my best running back, who was the best in the city at the time, was academically ineligible. We went up a defense that was supposed to be the best defense in the city. On the first kickoff of the game, I ran the kickoff back like 100 and something yards. Okay. I scored the 2-point conversion. I scored 5 touchdowns, 5 extra points. Maybe it might have been 6 and 6, all by myself single-handedly that day with no sleep. Having said that, these guys cannot handle it anymore. Now, I will tell you, I was in high school, and nothing bothers you when you're in high school. But, when I see guys that in the NBA that sit out a very important game because they have an achy hamstring or the calf muscle when the player starts. A star player started out because of his calf muscle. But I will speed forward, and I will tell you this. When I first got in this business, Dan, when I first got in the business here in Vegas, I went to work in a casino, in a sportsbook, hated it. Went to work as a dealer, hated it. In a casino, guys, dealer. Let's not get too crazy. And then I started working for, he was the unofficial host of Las Vegas. He was the most connected, connected guy. He owned a piece of a couple of casinos. He was a bookmaker, a Shylock. In the movie Casino, Joe Pesci owned the Leaning Tower of Pizza. He actually owned it. This guy was Jasper, and I worked with him. He had a line service. Jasper looked, and everybody knows Jasper. I was one of his pallbearers. He was a Shylock and a bookmaker, and one of the biggest bookmakers around. And I will tell you this, guys. I went to work in his line service, and back then, this is before computers. Bookmakers used to call up to see where the lines are going, if a line's been moved, the sharp play is hitting it, stuff like that. And I was in there, and the money wasn't very good, but he loved having me there. I was a neighborhood kid at that time. I was like 21, 22. And he said, why don't you go work for like somebody like Jim Feist? Those guys make good money. I said, what, like a boiler room? Now, what happened was, and you're going to laugh, I walked into an operation that following Sunday in the paper. It says, hey, be a sports handy, working in sports. I walked into this place. I won't say the name of it, Denali Sports. It was over on Charleston. I walked in. Now, I walked in. They had one half of the room. It was on a Monday because the thing was on a Sunday. One half of the room giving out the Giants, the other half giving out the Cowboys. It's a scam. Forget it. Now, a while goes back, and I ran into a guy at a bar and says, I work over at Feistman. We don't do that crap. It's not like that. We sell different handicappers. Underneath the Feist umbrella was like Kelso Sturgeon, Dave Koken, Chip Trimbus, Wayne Root. He says, and we sell different handicappers. He says, but nobody does that crap there. Jim would never allow it, neither would the powers that be. And I went to work for Jim Feist. Well, I can tell you my first paycheck, my first week, not knowing it. By the way, I started the sales class because you had to work 2 weeks before they put you on the phones. Sales class. We had about just under 30 guys that wanted the job. After day one, day two, they turned out. By the time the 2 weeks passed, there was like 4 or 5 of us left. All right, nobody wants. So I finally got on the phone. My first week, I made like $6,000. And I had no idea. I was reading the script. Hi, this is Joe D'Amico from Jim 5 Sports. How are you today? Do you have your lines on today's games? I made like $6,000.
Yeah.
It was a good job, dude. I got to tell you that. In the first few months there, I made about $60,000. It was a good job. But I remember getting a paycheck. It was a big paycheck. And doing a no-call, no-show. But I can tell you that was back in the early 90s. And I do remember going over to Caesar's Palace because well, Dion's taking a shower right now. The smell of stripper and the smell of alcohol was coming out of my body. And I went to Caesar's to go into the spa. I told, and the Caesar's was different. The casinos were different, guys. I had somebody say, I want a bottle of Absolute in a block of ice brought to the spa. And it was in a block of ice. It was like, it was great. And I was doing shots of Absolute to try to sweat the alcohol out and whatever else. And I go into the steam room with the bottle of Absolute. I'll never forget. I hear a distinct voice and a second distinct voice. In the steam room, Rodney Dangerfield and Pat Cooper. I spent the day drinking Absolute with the two of them, laughing our asses off all day. Then we went into the race book later, and we were betting races, having a blast. But you talk about these guys, these young guys that can't take it. Guys, let me tell you. Wait till you hit Dan. I'll be 56 in 2 months. How old are you?
I'll be 60 in November.
Wait till you guys hit our age, and your bones start to sound like you're eating Rice Krispies, and all of a sudden you get a back injury because you step off the curb the wrong way. Let me tell you, young guys, if you can't handle it now, you're in a lot of trouble. But that was my first time I ever did a no-call, no-show, and I felt horrible, but I forgot about it and they didn't care. They didn't care because I was right. I was an earner. So we had a lot of fun back in Feist. And Jim is still a friend of mine. He's a pioneer in this industry. Everybody knows Jim. I see him. We still do dinner once in a while. He still does some shows over at a restaurant that does a sports betting show on, I believe, West Charleston, Dom DeMarco's Pizza. He's great. But let me tell you, he taught me the right way. I sustained all these years. I've seen guys come and go. But I see people that can't even have a few drinks one night. And I'm going to tell you guys, I can't do it anymore either. That's why I don't. I mean, in another couple of weeks, when we get 100 every day, I'll be out by the pool by 10 a.m. drinking beer. But that's different. I'm sitting in my backyard, and I don't have any place to be the next day but this show in the morning. But I can do that. Well, I see some of these young guys, Dan, you said it. These young guys, they can't sustain. And then it's funny that we started off with 7, 8 handicappers, and I love everybody. I'm just busting chops, guys. You know that who may be watching. 7, 8 guys, and me and you are the oldest, and we're the only 2 left here. You know what I mean, Dan?
Uh, you know, seasoned. We're well seasoned. My liver is well seasoned.
Yeah. I was never a big drinker. I went out and I partied and I had a good time and I would drink here and there. Never a major drinker. Listen, a few years back, like 20 years ago, when I was, still in my 30s, I went to work in a phone room before I opened up my own place. And guys that were in their 40s and 50s and 60s that from years before were with me in the same room in Feist were working for another handicapper here. And they still did the same thing. They got paid on Thursday, broke on Friday. They smelled like alcohol for the next few days. You could smell it coming out of their pores. I can tell you, I still know for a fact because there are several sales rooms in town. And every once in a while, when I'm driving down to the east side, there's a big sales room there, or just over here, not far from me, down towards closer to the strip from my house. I'll pass by and walk in, say hello to the owners of these places, and it's the same faces, and they still look like they were out the night before. They still look like they're broke, and they can't even afford to get a bag of chips from the vending machine inside the sales room. But I will tell you, some of my best times in Vegas were with some of those guys, and some of those times in those sales rooms. Yeah. We had a blast at Feist. And Jim and his people taught me how to sell, and they told me about the industry quite a bit. And hey, there's a reason why he's a pioneer, and there's a reason why his room was around for so many years. But I want to thank Jim, by the way. I worked at another big company for another guy with a big name, and I ran a room for another guy for a big name underneath that umbrella. That's a whole different story. That's for another time. But I will tell you guys, being old, what's funny about getting old, Dan, I'm sure you would agree, like a great collegiate player, whether it be, let's talk about football, a great college football quarterback. He comes out, he's got all the speed, the arm strength, the strength. He's got the muscles, but he doesn't know the game. And everybody in the NFL, even linemen, run a 4.4, 4.5 40. And they hit like mules, and the game is fast. And it takes you several years to learn the pro game. But as you're learning the pro game and getting in some cases not, get smarter upstairs, can't throw as hard, can't run as fast. You can't move around as quickly. You can't take those Monday morning aches and pains like you used to. Am I right, Dan?
Yep.
As the circle of life, as you get the knowledge, you lose the strength. That's how it is. What's funny about people like Dan and myself who are, I'll be 56, he's 60, and we still look younger than these guys that are in their 20s, Dan. I'm telling you now, people think we are that young. We're not. We're old, guys. We're old. We are old. What's funny is about Dan, myself, Jesse Schul's been around the business a long time. Ben Burns has been in the business a long time. Sean Higgs has been in the business a long time. Guys, we've been around. A lot of these guys have been around 20 or more years. And we've been around, but I'll tell you what, I see a lot of guys come and go, Dan, and us old farts are still here. Am I right?
Yep, exactly.
We have a lot of fun on the show. Dion's not here today. Actually, the last 2 weeks, she took some time off to do stuff behind the scenes. That's why we're getting more viewers. That's why the show itself is looking better. It's why it's getting more promotion. But she's a little tired today. So she's going to take out. Last week I gave away tickets to WrestleMania to a lady and to take her son, who's a nice kid, to WrestleMania. And then the other night I gave away tickets to AC/DC. I've seen them a half a dozen times in my life. Talk about getting old. It was Saturday night. I looked at Dion at about 7:30. I said, "Do you want to go to the show?" She said, "Why, do you want to go?" And we all know, as husbands or boyfriends or whatever, or spouses of any sort, guys, the ones that they're just asking you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I could really go for a steak tonight. Oh, you really want a steak? And when know what she wants, Chinese or Italian or go for sushi, the ones. And I go, tell the truth. If you had a choice to go or stay home, well, what do you want to do? And I said, Dion, you're with me 25 years. You're my partner. You're my best friend. You want to go to the friggin' show or not? She goes, I like to go home, sit on the couch with you and the dogs and eat ice cream. I said, let's go home. So I gave the tickets away. I'm told the show was a great show. But we do that from time to time. But we are not going to miss this Friday show, Matt Rife. We're going to be at the MGM. We're right in the front row to see Matt Rife. We're looking forward to that. We got other shows this month, but that's the great thing about Vegas, guys. Dan, I know you spent. I'm going to take the glasses off so you can see the bags under my eyes. I'm tired today. But I know you've been to Vegas many, many times. I always use this one. It was like a 10-day, 2-week period about 12 or 15 years ago, as an example. In 1 week, we saw Lionel Richie, Tony Bennett, Lady Gaga, Motley Crue, the Sex Pistols, J-Lo, wait a minute, there was a New Edition, all in the same week, about 2-week period. Where else but Vegas can you do that, Dan? Am I right?
Yeah. Pretty. Yeah.
I mean, we have a million shows coming up and a million events. And I just looked at her last week. I said, "You want to go see the Yankees play the Angels or even the Dodgers?" She's like, "Yeah, maybe." Now it all sounds good, guys. Once again, Dan, going back to the 18, it all sounds good until the day of the show, the
Exactly.
event, the ball game where you go, freaking tired.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. Now you're on the East Coast, and in one way you have a pro, in one way you have a con. In one way, me being on Pacific time in the West Coast, I have a pro, I have a con. I have to get up earlier. So when I'm up at 1:30 a.m., I got to do my due diligence. I got to look at the games, handicap them, look at injuries, weather conditions. Then I got to make some phone calls to the islands, to throughout the country, New York, Chicago, some other places, even places here in town, to see where the betting crews are going to bet, because I judge a lot of what I'm going to do off the value of the line, whether it be a line sport like basketball or football or a juice sport like baseball. And then we have to decide what we're going to do. Then we're going to write up what we're going to do. Then I have columns, and I get them all done. Then I prep for the show. And by that time, 1:30 is now 8 a.m. We're on the air.
Yeah.
So I have an advantage that I'm done with my crap in the business earlier than you, but you have an advantage the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. I understand. That's why I always get killed when I go to Vegas, because you still, you're out there living on Vegas time when you're out there, and then you wake up after a night. You go to bed at 1 a.m. and you have to wake up at 4 a.m. to get your shit done. So yeah, it always kills me when I go out there.
It's not easy, guys. I'm on a timetable. I keep hours like Walter White from Breaking Bad, like I'm cooking meth, dude. I'm up between 1:30, 2 o'clock. This time of year I can get up a little bit later, depending on the week. While I'm during the week. The weekends, you got games that start at 9. Once in a while, they throw you a curveball with a baseball game during the week that starts early. But I have it a little, I still got to get up early. I got to get that stuff done. You got to understand, when it's 1 a.m. here, it's already 4 a.m. on the East Coast. So you've got to make allotments for that. So by the time I'm done with everything and on the show, it's 11 a.m. on the East Coast. And, people don't get, we just don't look at a game, look at the schedule and go, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Cavaliers, so to speak, Warriors tonight. Tomorrow, I definitely like the Magic plus the point. That's not how it happens. Yeah. You can circle a game that catches your eye, but it doesn't happen. Having said all that, Dion's taking the day off, guys. I know we do a lot of fluff, but it is what it is, and you guys love us for it. I'll tell you that now. Dion's taking a day off. Please, the First Family Show is on its own YouTube channel. Subscribe now and ring that bell so you don't miss a single show, a betting insight, a free pick winner, or any of the last. We got a couple of things to discuss today. Dan, can we talk NBA real quick?
Sure.
2 games today. Both away teams are up in the series. Cleveland's up 3-0. They're laying, as of before the show, sports fans, 8.5. Don't quote me. And what is it? The Warriors are up 2-1, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And because I can't write my penmanship, Warriors, as of this show, the line went up, was 2.5. Last night went to 3.5. We could also talk about tomorrow's and Wednesday's real quick. Boston up 3-1 at home, 12.5. At home, the New York Knicks 5.5, up 3-1. Up 3-1 also the Pacers -7. A lot of points in my opinion. Clippers, Nuggets 2-2. The Clippers are favored on the road. That might move. And then on Wednesday, the games we know are going to take place are the Warriors for sure. They'll be on the road at the Rockets. We don't know what's going on and pertains to tonight. And then the T-Wolves at the Lakers, guys. T-Wolves are up 3-1. A lot of people thought the Lakers with LeBron and company, they're down 3-1. They go back home. Dan, any thoughts? Me and you were doing baseball today, so why don't we chime in a little bit? Cavaliers 8.5 on the road. Heat. Do they close it out? Do they ease back, knowing that they'll go home?
Well, here's the thing. Well, Miami hasn't been in any of these games. No. Cleveland's covered the 9 points in every game, but they won the last game, 20 or 30, and Garland didn't play. And he just doesn't have the firepower to stay with this Cleveland team. This Cleveland team's on a roll right now. Yeah, if I was betting that game, which I may later, but right now I'd probably take Cleveland, definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Here's how I look at it. Now let me play devil's advocate. And I think you make great points, and I agree with you. Let's devil's advocate. Cleveland's up in the game. Well, Cleveland could also go into game 5 up 3-1 and close it out. I mean, I'm not saying they'll throw the game, guys, by no means. But I'm, in all reality, 8.5 points. They got a lead. So they got a 12 or 13, 14, 15-point lead. They start pulling starters. Miami makes a hell of a run at the end. That's something I look at in this game psychologically, or, and I will tell you too, I like Golden State quite a bit, especially I had them a couple of days ago big. I had them big as a big play. A couple of days before the game before that, they held Steph Curry, blah, blah, blah. He's been carrying this team on his back. Jimmy Butler, now the word is he's probably going to play. Don't quote me on that, sports fans. That's as of maybe 7 or 7:30 a.m. PST this morning. I liked Golden State maybe at the 2.5 and take them on the money line. Now it's up to 3.5 and changes things. Orlando, Boston. Boston is just outplaying this team. But Orlando, got to be honest, they're playing in Boston. And Boston isn't as great at the TD Garden as they used to be. 12.5 is a lot of points. They can close it out and not cover. The Knicks. I think the Knicks are a better team than the Pistons. I think plain and simple. I think the Pistons are just talent-wise not as good. I think the Knicks have their numbers. Please remember, the Knicks are a physical team too. Yeah. Patience, I think it's a lot of points, my opinion. They could win, not cover, or the Bucks could come up with a big game here and go down, they're down 3-1. Clippers Nuggets, I think, is a very difficult, obviously, because it's 2-2, but given the Nuggets points at home is dangerous. Then you got the Wednesday game, T-Wolves getting 5.5 of the Lakers. Do I think the Lakers are going to blow them out if they win the game? No. So I would probably come out with the T-Wolves. Any comments on any of those, Dan?
I like Golden State. The Knicks, don't get me started on the Knicks, even though I hate the Pistons. But but go back to the Cleveland game. My only thing about the Cleveland game is why, if they can close it out, I think they're going to close it out, because why would they want to play a game 5 and risk somebody getting hurt? No, that's one way I look at it also. Same thing with Boston. But 12's a lot, and they've had some close games, so I'm not so sure about the Boston game to bet that game. But I just think Cleveland's been dominating this team, and I understand what you're saying. They get a lead, they pull guys out. Miami maybe comes back, and that's the risk you always take in any NBA game. I think Cleveland's they're going to want to. They're going to want to close it out. They're not going to want to play another game. That gives Garland more rest. So yeah, that's the thing about the NBA and point spreads. It's always you can always make a case for either side. It's just, if it was a closer game or closer spread, you could always take the money line and not worry about it.
Absolutely. Sports fans, I know we're here to give out some free plays. We've got some discounts we're going to tell you about. Dan and I both have some free plays. We got some guys doing great work at SportsMemo. Before we do that, we got hockey. Now, I will tell you, I've been on fire in hockey. I think I know I did lose a game yesterday. I won a big 5% play in baseball, another one, but I lost to hockey, smaller, lesser percentage. Florida, Tampa Bay. Now, I stood off hockey today, Dan. Florida's up 2-1. They're at home. Dallas, Colorado was 2-2. You got Florida favorite $1.30, $1.40, depending on the book, $1.35. I got to tell you, after the ass whooping they took yesterday, I would automatically just look to say, hey, you got to come back with Florida at home here. Now, Avalanche Stars. Those Stars are a pesky bunch. I got to be honest with you. They're a pesky bunch. They're annoying. They're like a fly or a gnat or a mosquito just while you're having some lunch outside at some cafe. Just doesn't stop bothering you. Well, I think Colorado should win this series. They're in trouble here. Tomorrow's games, 3-1, the Maple Leafs. Do they close it out? Do I want to lay $1.70 on them? Probably not. As of this morning before the show, two of tomorrow's games didn't have lines. They could by now. Hurricanes 3-1 didn't have a line. Oilers, Kings 2-2 didn't have a line. But the Golden Knights are 220 at home. I'm going to tell you this, Dan. I'm always going to support my local teams. There is no way this team should be a 220 favorite against almost any opponent in the league. I don't care. They're at home in the Fortress. They should not be 220 automatically because of the value that line offers me. I'm going to look to take the dog there. Wednesday, we got a couple of games that don't have lines on it, but any thoughts on this hockey?
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. Bobrovsky can't play another bad game like he did.
That was ugly.
Yeah, but again, Vasilevsky looked ugly the first two games
Yeah.
of the series. So I'd probably maybe look at maybe both goalies coming out good in this game, and maybe look at the total. To be honest, I think this Colorado game series should be over. To be honest, Colorado should have swept them, but it's been the problem with Colorado, and I know because I've been a fan since Wild left. They never have a good goaltender. They're always throwing people in there and think they can win with their offense, and always in the playoffs, their goaltending always seems to let them down, and that could be the case in this series also. But I just think I just got to take their offense. They have a better.
You got to be honest, Dan. Looking at the Tuesday games, Toronto's up 3-1. They're at home because Ottawa plays them tough, though. The line of the dog plus 150. Give or take, guys. Don't hold me to anything. If something might change in the last hour, is very enticing. Once again, like I said, the Minnesota Wild plus about $2 to me is very enticing. What about your thoughts on those two?
Yeah, I like both those. I might even take them at plus 1.5 goals because I think the games would be close.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Now, guys, listen, we are going to get into some free picks with some discounts. Before we do, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the NFL draft. I don't know if you guys saw it, and I don't know if it was really real, but it went viral. You know, well, first of all, did anybody know the situation? Shedeur Sanders had a whole thing set up, like decorated his house or something.
Yeah, it was at his dad's house. Yeah.
Is that they set it up, though. It looked like, oh, my God. Like he was going to be the second coming of the number one draft. And I was like, okay, fine. And then there was something that went viral. I don't know if it was for real or not, okay? But I don't know if anybody out there saw it. Dan, I don't know if you saw it. 2 kids who actually got Shedeur Sanders' phone number. And they made believe they were calling him from like the Cleveland Browns, who was the next.
New Orleans. They said
it was New Orleans. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is so-and-so from the New Orleans Saints. Hey, you've been waiting a while. Yeah. Well, keep waiting. Now, I don't know if that was a real call or not.
It was.
It was a real call.
Yeah, it was the son of that. Actually, there's a meme came out from NFL memes. It's a shit Facebook site. They just come out with garbage for clickbait. But they actually said it was from the New York Giants. Their GM's daughter goes to Ole Miss, and it was she got the number and gave it to some guys at an Ole Miss frat house, and they called. That was the thing that came out Saturday or Sunday. But no, it was the Atlanta Falcons GM. His son was over and at the house, and the dad had his iPad out with his email open with the number, and his son wrote down the number and made the prank call.
So it actually was for real.
It was for real, yeah.
I feel a little bad for Shedeur Sanders, but I got to be honest with you. I had some people. I did some other shows last week, some radio stuff, and some people asked me, "Hey, what do you think of Shedeur? Second, third, fourth?" I says, "I don't know. I don't even think he's going to go in the first round." Now, did I expect him to go when he went? No, but I didn't think he was a first round guy. And, every year we see a guy or two that you think should be, that people think, hey, guys, I'll tell you now, Dan, I pulled these this morning, so if something changed. So Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, Mason Graham, Ashton Jonty, we got him over here at Raiders. Talk about that in a minute. Armand Mambeau, Fitzroy McMillan, Kelvin Blanks, Colston Loveland, Michael Williams. I mean, there's a lot of big names here. Matthew Golden, Donovan Jackson, Jackson Dart, James Pierce. Any surprises, anything you want to talk about any part of the draft, let alone the first round?
Yeah, I guess my biggest surprise when I saw the pick come up was Loveland at 10 to Chicago and not Warren out of Penn State at the tight ends. That was my kind of big thing, but it might have been my anti-Michigan bias. But I thought Warren was just a better tight end, but I saw what Ben Johnson did with Laporta here in Detroit, so that could be scary.
Yeah, I got to tell you though, I think you're missing a lot of big name flair here in the first round. Obviously, the players we thought were going to go. Let's talk about the Raiders. Ashton Genty, Boise State running back. A lot of people are a little surprised here in town. That's the buzz. We need a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff. I get it, but, the defense is getting plowed around. They're going to be in trouble there. They need receivers. They need a real quarterback, in my opinion. Actually, I think they need a new coach, in my opinion. I don't think they had a single coach yet that is getting the job done. Having said that, a lot of people are talking. He fumbles the ball a little bit. A lot of people, some people are happy. The kid's going to obviously bring more people to the stadium. Please understand, no, he hasn't been hit by NFL-type linebackers. Right. But, guys, you can say that about anybody coming out of college. But, I mean, there's 50-50 here in town, which you're always going to get in Vegas. You're never going to get people just all for it or all against it. You're always going to get 50-50 because we got people from all over the country here.
That's all premise of Vegas, isn't it? 50-50.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're right. A lot of stuff. Anybody have any questions, comments about the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, or the draft, please chime in. I know we did a lot of fluff today, guys, but it's just me and Dan, and we'll keep it personal. We have a lot of fun. Dan and I are friends for many, many years. Let me grab my notes now. Actually, my eyes are bothering because I don't have sunglasses on. I just want to tell you that's another thing, guys. Don't get old. It sucks. Other than that, we got a couple of great discounts over at SportsMemo. Then we're going to get into some free plays. First of all, a great show discount, 30% off any daily package or all access pass for all cappers on this show. Use code FAMILY30 upon checkout. Guys, 30% off. This is a great way for you to get your favorite capper over at SportsMemo for a discount, or a way that you could dip your toe in the waters before you dive in to one of the newer cappers, or maybe a capper you haven't worked with before. 30% off. Then, guys, Pete Rose, a good buddy of mine, one day a week for years, we used to go to a sports book here in town, a race book here in town. He liked his Cordellas. I like my win in place and my trifectas. I used to bet at races. Pete Rose always said it ain't bragging if you can back it up, guys. Top MLB capper. Last 7 days, I've won 8 consecutive MLB releases. I've got a special today and today only. Through the World Series, $3.99. Normally it's $5.99. You go over to SportsMemo, email them, you can get it. Or I believe they call in. I don't know how you call in, but say you see another show, you'll get that discount. I'm telling you right now, you bet $20 a game or $20,000. This will be the best MLB season you've ever had. I'm on fire. But I'm no stranger to being on fire. I've won 8 straight MLB premium releases. I'm on a killer run. All sports I'm winning. NBA, NHL, and another matter of time, so to speak. We got CFL. We got WNBA starting. But this is a great time, and this is a great deal. And thank you, SportsMemo. Thanks to all the great folks behind the scenes. We got the best supporting cast in the business. The Detroit office, plus some other people that are behind the scenes, and you know who you are. They do everything to give not just a capper anything we need to accommodate us, but they know that everybody out there is very valuable to us. You mean the world to us. So we want to give you any opportunity to save money while you're making money. $3.99 straight through the World Series. Good today. Email them. You'll get it. Before we go and give out today's free winners, the floor is open. Comment, questions, please fire away. Anything you want to talk about. If you want to talk about how young Dan and I look for our ages and that we show up every day, we can. Having said that, Dan, you're no stranger to being on leaderboards. I see your name on the SportsMemo leaderboard. It seems like every single day. You know why? Because I'm an egomaniac, and I look to see if my name's on the leaderboard. I look to see if Dion, the first lady of Las Vegas' name is on the leaderboard. She's killing it right now. She did pass today, and I love that about her, by the way. She's doing great. Had another winning day yesterday. And yet she didn't love anything to bet today, and she wasn't going to put anything out half-assed just to get sales. That's why I love the integrity of the caliber of capper that you have at SportsMemo. They didn't just put us together because we win. They put it together because we have integrity. See, she's the first lady, Dion D'Amico, is killing it. She had another good day yesterday, and I will tell you this. She could have put something up there half-assed. Hope she won it. She got a 50-50 shot. But if she wasn't betting, she wasn't going to ask you to bet. Dan's name is all over the leaderboards at SportsMemo, and he's one of the best there is, period, in the history of this business. But recently, I see his name constantly. Doesn't matter if it's baseball, hockey, basketball. It doesn't matter if it's on the on the turf or the grass, the hardwood or the ice, Dan Kaiser is money. And you will be making money if you follow him. He's going to tell you what he's been doing. He's going to tell you what you can expect from him on the premium side of SportsMemo. He's got a free play. Take it away, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I think the only thing worse for Shedeur Sanders this weekend was if he was like me and bet the Mets all weekend. But saying that, I'm going to go play that game here today, the Mets and the Nationals. The Mets are in first place in the NL East with a 19-8 record so far this season. They're in a perfect spot to put distance between themselves and the rest of the division with a 4-game series with the lowly Washington Nationals. And to be honest, the Mets should be playing for the sweep right now today. But I think they forgot that there's 9 innings in a baseball game. Game 1, they had the lead going into the 9th inning, allowed the winning run to score on a single from first base. Yesterday, 7-1 lead, going in the bottom of the 7th, only to lose it in the bottom of the 9th. And then going into this matchup, they just don't have – this is the one matchup, and I think the 4 games that they don't have a definite pitching advantage. Griffin Canning gets the call for the Mets, while Trevor Williams goes for the Nats. And I'm basing this one more on home road splits here in this pitching matchup. Canning struggled on the road this season. He's 1-1 with a 4.91 ERA and a 1.45 WHIP in 11 innings, while Trevor Williams is 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA and a 2.82 batting average against in 10 innings at home. Washington has won 2 of the 3 games so far this season against the Mets, and they've done it in kind of dramatic style. I think they have a better pitcher in this one. And after yesterday's game, they definitely have momentum heading in their direction. Hey, I woke up this morning saying maybe I'd ride with the Mets one more time, but nah, I like the Nats at plus money in this one. You know, twice bitten, once shy or something. So I bet the Mets bit me twice this weekend. So hopefully I can bite them today.
Great stuff from Dan, the Professor Kaiser. He says, once bitten, twice shy. Take the Nats, take them all the way to the bank.
Well, I was bitten twice, so.
Follow Dan with that free play. You're going to follow him to the bank. More importantly, guys, after this show, we've got this great discount, SportsMemo. Man, they know that saving you money is just as good as making you money. 30% off any daily package or all access pass for all cappers on the show. Use code FAMILY30. Follow Dan with this. Guys, I'm going to tell you, during Dan's breakdown, and Dan's going to stick around, I went to fix my chain on my neck. It's cost me $60,000. God knows what it's going to cost me to fix it. I just broke the chain. So I just said, that's good. You would think it's just this, and that, but I got to bring it back to the guy that made it for me. $60,000 chain is now a paperweight. Just want you to know, guys. Having said all that, Dan's going to stick around. Guys, any questions or comments for Dan? You got to love Dan. He's doing some great work. What do you got on the premium side? One more time, Dan, over at SportsMemo.
Yeah, to be posted after the show, I'm looking at probably 3 baseball games. I'm playing the NBA and 2 or 3 plays in the NHL tonight. Probably a couple totals on the side.
Great stuff, Dan Kaiser, and he's going to be sticking around, as I mentioned, but go over after the show. Follow Dan with this 30% off any daily package or all access pass. Use code FAMILY30. You're going to follow him to the bank. Now, guys, I'm going to take center stage for a moment, but Dan will be back. My friends, I will tell you this. Like I said, it ain't bragging if you can back it up. I am crushing it. All right, I'm the number 1 MLB capper on the site right now. I have a 5% play today. I had a 5% play yesterday on the Cincinnati Reds. Got everybody paid. I'm unstoppable on the diamond, winning 8 straight premium releases today. I have another big game winner for you. My 5% MLB MVP play, said that 10 times, Chris. By the way, my MVP plays 100% this season, documented at 6-0 at SportsMemo. Get on my hot streak, get this big game winner, get paid. I will tell you this. You will make money with it. You will make money with it. You will make money with it. Now I want to talk about today's free play. Guys, if you can make it there, you're going to make it anywhere. All right, winning both ends of yesterday's doubleheader, the Yankees further gelled themselves in the top spot in the competitive American League East Division. 17-11 overall. Believe it or not, you can check this statistic because I did, and I double-checked it. They're the only team in the AL that possesses winning records both at home and on the road. As a matter of fact, And this surprised me, Dan, and everybody out there. There are only 2 teams in the NL that can boast that accomplishment as well. A season ago, the Orioles gave them a hard time. However, Baltimore, a very different team this season. They dwell in the Eastern Division cellar at 10-17, owning the second worst record overall in the AL, and enter this matchup losing 3 in a row in 6 of their last 7 outings. Dismal record, 5-6 at Oriole Park at Camden. They were swept on the road in Detroit, 3-0, being outscored by a combined 17-5. Their offense is bad enough. They rank in the bottom third in just about every major category, but their pitching, oh my goodness. Oh, their pitching has been downright deplorable. 30th in baseball, a team ERA of 5.37. Speaking of pitching, today they send Tomoyuki Sagano to the mound. He is 2-1 with a 3.54. It's respectable, guys. The team has won 3 of his 5 starts this season. However, how about the butt? A butt. And everybody out there knows me. I love a very big butt. But he has faced the Blue Jays twice, the Royals, the Guardians, and the Nationals. Only one of those teams he has gone up against in Cleveland currently possesses a winning record. He also has a problem giving up the long ball. He's yielded 6 home runs just in his last 4 starts. This does not bode well, guys. As who comes in? You've got to stand 60 feet away from the Yankees lineup that ranks second in baseball. They've already accumulated 45 home runs. As a matter of fact, New York's powerful lineup, they rank first in OPS, second in team batting average, second in scoring. They are going to send Will Warren to the hill. He's made 5 starts so far this season, only yielding more than 2 earned runs in a start one time. And folks, he's faced some good offenses. The way the Bronx Bombers are bombing the baseball, how you like I put that one in there, along with the fact the O's just can't hit, tells me the New York gets another big division victory here. Take the Yankees, take your bookmakers' money. Guys, one more time, let me tell you what I got going on tonight. I am excited about this. I'm excited. A 5% play. You can't get any bigger at SportsMemo. I just won one yesterday on the Reds. This one I like even more. Top MLB capper currently, 5% play, 8-0 MLB run. This game today, my MVP play are a perfect 6-0 documented at SportsMemo. Go over to SportsMemo. Use this discount. Email them and say, hey, I want Joe for the rest of the season. Once you come on for the rest of the season, guys, it'll be like the mob. Once you're in, you won't leave. You'll stay with me forever. I'm telling you that now. Let me bring my good buddy Dan back on. If you missed any of our free play winners, we're going to run them down in a few minutes. Dan, what do you want to talk about? We got some time. What do you want to talk about, buddy?
Oh, I like that Yankees play. I cleaned up with Detroit against Baltimore in every game in that series. Yeah, Baltimore just isn't the team they were last year. I mean, their pitching's not there. They're not hitting. So, yeah, I like the Yankees in that one, definitely.
Does it surprise you the way Baltimore's been playing that they weren't more of a favorite in some of these games the last week or two? I'll be honest with you. I've jumped on the Tigers bandwagon a few times because I felt the line was very short. I felt they were certainly on paper and on the field better team than their opponents a few times. They are still kind of, I don't want to say under the radar, but maybe the odds makers think they're playing above themselves. You know, the American League Central is not the strongest division in the AL by far. But, you know, they're playing good baseball. They still have to put W's on them, but they still got to score runs and stop their opponents from scoring. Detroit's playing some good baseball right now.
Yeah, I think, being from Detroit, being from the area and whatever, you look at that lineup and it's just, there's no, stars there. I mean, Torkelson, that guy, they're ready to run that guy out of Detroit last year, the number 1 overall pick a few years ago. He stunk last year, went down to the minors a couple of times. He's hitting the cover off of the ball. Baez is starting to play decent baseball. I mean, they were ready to run. People wanted him cut last year and just eat the money. He's been playing better, and that they played him in center field a lot. He's made some big plays out there. Their lineup just seems to hit and get hits when they need to get hits. But there's nobody there that they don't have a Judge or a Soto or anybody. It's just a lineup made up of guys. And their pitching staff outside of Scooble. Mize is pitching well, but he's been hit or miss his whole career and injured. And
what I like about the Tigers, Dan, I'm going to be honest, this may seem a little hokey or a little corny. I watched a game with them last week. They're having fun. Yeah. They're enjoying themselves.
Yep.
You look at some of these benches when the teams are, up at bat, and they just doesn't seem, I know. Here's the fine line: is it a business? Is it a sport? Is it a business? Is it a sport? It's both, guys. But you got to understand, you're a grown man playing a kid's game, so to speak. Enjoy it, have fun. I see teams as not, and I know fun goes along with winning. All right, I'm not stupid, guys, but I will tell you, this team just seems to be enjoying the fact that they play baseball every day for a living. There's a bunch of kids, a couple of seniors, and they're getting along well. They're meshing well. It's fun to watch this team. Let me put it that way. And I think that that's showing in their performance. I'll be honest. That's why they're putting some W's up, Dan.
Yeah, and their manager. I mean, that's I think where the White Sox screwed up a few years ago when they brought in Tony La Russa, and they actually put out a press release saying the new manager was going to be AJ Hinch. And that's who they should have got. And I think that the White Sox would have been a totally different team if they had AJ Hinch on the bench. He's a great manager. He did it at Houston. Trash cans aside, but he's a good baseball manager, and I think he's getting what he can out getting the best he can.
Dan, I'm going to tell you something. I am a Yankee fan, and I will tell you, I didn't like Girardi, and I certainly don't like Aaron Boone. I don't like their decisions, their in-game decisions. And I will tell you this: I've been saying it since he retired, but they're never going to put him in there because he left the Yankees in a little bit of a tizzy, a little bit of a bad blood. Jorge Posada should be at the helm there. He's a great baseball mind. He's tough as nails. He don't take no crap. He can deal with egos, but he knows the game and he knows players. And I'll be honest with you, that's one manager that all of his players are going to look at and go, I'm not pissing this guy off.
Yeah,
I think he deserved the respect. He also won. He played on good teams. He played on, and he knows the game. But they'll never put him in there, especially that organization, because of the way he left that organization. They didn't leave with good blood. They had bad blood. I didn't like Girardi at all, which is very strange for me to say because I'm Italian. His last name ends in a vowel. I'm always partial. I think he was a step away from a moron. I don't like Aaron Boone. I got to be honest with you. I don't like their in-game decisions. I don't like what they do. I don't like them. I don't like them. And I will tell you this. I think Aaron Boone was the reason why the Yankees lost last year in the World Series. He made some bad decisions, and then the Yankees, it just snowballed from there in the game that they should have won. They win that game, the series is it takes a whole different persona on. I'm not saying they would have won the series. I'm saying that it would have been a better situation. I don't like his decisions. I didn't like Girardi's decisions. I would love to see Georgie Posada in there because he's got a great baseball mind. He knows the game. He don't take no crap. He can deal with egos, guys. He dealt with 25 great egos for more than a decade coming and going in there. And the people in New York love him, by the way. The people in New York love him. Even if he starts out and they're not winning, the fans will wait it out because he is beloved. It pisses me off, but what's that?
I'm not a Boone guy either. He leaves a lot to be desired, and I agree with you. I think Posada would be good, and it always seems that ex-catchers always seem to make good managers.
Well, they know baseball. They usually are tough. They've earned the respect of pitchers and batters. Yeah. Understand something. Pitchers sit by themselves, batters sit there, and position players. But a catcher sits with both. He knows both. He knows he hits himself and he knows the pitching. Plus, he's a student of the game. He knows opposing pitchers too. Yep. And it's not just you got to be a big brooding guy that can hit the ball and control a pitcher, man. You got to know a lot about being a catcher in today's games. That's why guys like even Yogi Berra, who was a clown, man, he was just great. Bill Dickey, phenomenal, still one of the best hitting catchers of all time. And then you go back to guys like Johnny Bench, we grew up with, Thurman Munson, we grew up with. I did like Pudge Rodriguez. I liked him a lot. A lot of people were on the fence with him. The guy could hit, but he was a good catcher too. I like Carlton Fisk. He really knew the game, and I hated him because he was a Red Sox for most of his for a large portion of the career. But guys, you got to look at some of these guys, and catchers have to be smart. They really do, at least smart in the game. I wasn't a big Piazza. I wasn't a big Mike Piazza.
No,
thought he got some favorable situations in his life. But, he was a fan favorite. He was Italian, so you like him, Well, when Tommy Lasorda is your godfather and you got a pitching machine and a net in your backyard, and you could spend weekends at Dodger Stadium hitting the ball if you wanted to. So having said all that, we babble a lot, but we like to have fun. Anything else you want to question or comment on, Dan?
No, not really. I kind of shot my load already.
This week we got some good people on the show. Dan's going to be coming back a few times. We've got Sniper West who wanted to be here today. He's got some tech issues this morning, which, guys, that is not something that I am unfamiliar with, living in Southern Nevada and dealing with Cox Communications. Stevie Seagrave will be on. Abby of Abby Sports Picks. We'll have Sean Higgs on. We're trying to get some of the other cappers, some of your favorite cappers over at SportsMemo on. Situations are tough, especially some of our cappers. A lot of our cappers aren't in the continental U.S. They are in other parts of the world, different time zones. So when we do our show, it's not the easiest for some of these guys. So we are trying, and trust me, as annoying I can be on air, I'm even more annoying off air. So I'm trying to get some of these guys. I'm pestering them to get them on the show. Other than that, Dan, we can run down some free plays in a moment. But guys, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button, ring that bell. Don't forget about our specials. Once again, our specials. Any capper over at SportsMemo on this show, use code FAMILY30, get 30% off any daily package or all access pass. This is good for Dan, myself, Deon D'Amico, the First Lady, any of the cappers that are on this show. I've got a nice discount. You hit up SportsMemo via their customer service. Say, hey, I want the Joe D'Amico discount, $3.99. All right, through the World Series. You can't beat this in about it. If you look at it this way, Dan, we're going to May, June, July, August, September, and the postseason in October. You're getting 5.5 months. Guys, that's like a short jail sentence, but you'll have me making you money for 5.5 months for $3.99. You want to break that down, guys? That comes to pennies a day, okay? Dollars a day. Not a lot, okay? You can't get a lap dance at a Boulder Highway Strip Club for that price, and trust me, those girls don't have any teeth. Trust me. Dan, I got a great one for you, okay? So many years ago, I own other businesses here in town, quite a few businesses, car washes, karaoke, pizza, tanning parlors, night spots, gaming bars. We own them all. Lawn care business, pool care business. We own a lot. Many years ago, I owned a room addition. We used to do room additions on houses, minor construction, but major, not minor construction, major construction to houses. We specialize in room additions and or whatnot. Okay. I got this. I'll tell you where we were. We were doing, a friend of a friend referred me to a famous ex-pitcher, Raleigh Fingers. You remember Raleigh Fingers?
Yeah.
It still looks the same, by the way. Yeah. We were doing something on his house, so I wanted to go in personally. This is true. Go in personally, with the crew and blah blah blah. Well, I hired one of the guys that worked with me in a sales room. All right. I always had other jobs because income is income, guys. And owned other businesses, but we had this place. There was a construction. We did room, and we name it. We did it. But we went. So I wanted to go there because I wanted to make sure the crew, who we never had a problem with a crew. Well, I hired some guy. He wasn't making money in the sales room. It was an issue. This is a true story. So we're coming back. I got the big truck. I got all the guys in the back, all the equipment in the back, and he's sitting. I got a guy in the front seat next to me, another guy in the front seat of a truck, and then him. And we're pulled up because Wally Finger lived out there. We pulled up. We're taking Bulldog Highway, and I stop. It was a warm summer day, and I stop at this traffic light. And Boulder Highway, for those of you who don't know, there's a couple of casinos down there. There's Boulder Station, a few other ones I don't remember the name of. I'll be honest with you. I'm a pretty tough guy. I wouldn't walk around there even in the daytime, let alone at night. You do get ladies and guys of the night. You get truckers down there. It's a seedy crowd. There's a lot of problems down there. So I pull up at this traffic light. Now, remember, here in Vegas, 115 in the summer. It was a summer day. I'll never forget it. That's why he was working for me, because the sales rooms are slow in the summer. And I put him on the crew. And his first job, he messed up, by the way, at Raleigh Fingers house. In any case, I pull up at this light. So we usually quit by like 1 p.m., 12 or 1 p.m. But by that time, we already did about a 7 or an 8-hour day, because we start when sun comes up 5:30 on the job site. Having said that, it was hot. I stop at this light on Boulder Highway. I looked to my left just to look, and there was a strip club. Now, it was like a one-story one, concrete, unpainted. They had a window, a door. The door opened with a bar stool. Now, the window had an old case of Budweiser on the inside of the outside, you can see Budweiser. It was like an old bottom of the Budweiser cases. There was in the parking lot. It was dirt parking lot, rocks, tire. There was a car on what do you call it? Like on a cinder block. Other cars in the parking lot, and a girl sitting in a little outfit on the stool. I looked and I said, I said, holy fudge. What kind of man would go to a strip club here? And all of a sudden I hear, he laughed like John Travolta when he was Barbarino. I said, I want to say his name on the air, Lenny. I said, Lenny, don't tell me that. He said, I was drinking over at Boulder Station, and they threw me out, and I had nowhere to go and saw that, so I just drove across the street. I said, Lenny, what other girls like in there? I said, what is it like? And I always make a joke, 75 cents a lap dance, 25 cents a tooth. He says, pretty much, Joe. Pretty much. I'll never forget it, guys. I always talk about Boulder Highway Strip Club. Never went into the place. I swear to you. But I got to tell you, the girl that was sitting outside, she kind of resembled Carlton Fisk a little bit. And she was in a little two-piece with heels on, and there was a car on a cinder block, and there's stuff. It's like one of the places you would see like a dog with 3 legs and tumbleweeds rolling through and stuff. I'll never forget it. Guys, I know we joke and we babble a lot. There's a sports betting show, but I couldn't be anybody else but me. All right. Having said all that, we're going to run down our free plays. We're going to get you on out of here. Dan, final closing thoughts and comments.
It's just another busy day. Take advantage of it while we can. Hockey, basketball, baseball, because a couple months or a month from now, whatever, it's just going to be the dog days of summer. So take advantage while you can.
Good stuff. Somebody dinged me just now on my phone, and I looked like a minute ago. Says, "Why you took your sunglasses off? Why do you wear them?" I said, "Guys, let me tell you why I wear sunglasses. I always say I'm so cool that the sun follows me even when I'm indoors. It's because I'm up at 1 a.m. and you don't see the bags under my eyes when I am on air at 8 a.m. I get tired in the morning, so you don't see the bags under my eyes. Having said that, so that's your answer, buddy. And you just texted me. Having said that, our free plays today. Dan, what'd you have for everybody?
Washington Nationals plus 135 against the Mutts.
The sexy and savory host has the Yankees tonight. I think it's a good play. They're hitting the ball. They're going up against a pitcher who hasn't faced a lineup like this. Other than that, Dan, what do you got on the premium side tonight? Again, you got some games going up shortly.
Yeah, I'll have like 3 to 4 plays in baseball. I think I have 1 basketball play and a couple plays on the ice.
All right, and I've got that big 5% play. It's as high as we go over at SportsMemo. Top MLB capper right now. I've won 8 straight premium releases. I have my 6-0 MLB MVP play as a 5% play. I won one yesterday on the Reds. I'm going to win another one today. Finish out your month, or even better, go over to SportsMemo. Follow me with this $3.99 straight through the World Series. Just hit them up in their customer service. Email them, whatever. They will get you started. Trust me, you'll start winning today. Before you're headed to Bill tonight, you follow Joe D. You're going to follow me to the bank. The First Lady of Las Vegas, Dan D'Amico. Hopefully she'll be back tomorrow. I miss her because she stops me from babbling as much and from ranting as much. But hopefully she'll be back tomorrow. She did pass today, but I will tell you this. Take advantage because she's winning in all 3 sports she does right now. Hockey, basketball, baseball. Grab these packages, man. 30% off for Dion. And if you don't want Dion, you don't want Joe D'Amico, you don't want Dan, go over to SportsMemo. I'm sure there is a capper that's tailor-made just for you. We have the best collection of cappers anywhere on the planet at SportsMemo. I threw all my stuff away, Dan. Hold on a second. We talked about the draft. We talked about NHL. We talked about NBA. Tomorrow, hopefully, Sniper West will be back here. Dan will be back. Stevie Seagrave will be back. I love Steve. He's one of my favorite people in this business, let alone on the planet. All right, guys, we're going to get on out of here. You got free plays from us. You got discounts. We did babble a lot, but I babbled with Wes the other day. It was just me and him. We babbled for an hour. But we had fun. You got some great betting insights. You hear some great stories, and you get some free picks to boot. All right, we're all here to have fun, but bottom line is we're going to make you money. Follow Dan, follow myself. Everybody, we're going to get on out of here. Tune in to all the First Family shows for a ton of free winners, some great betting insights, a few laughs too. On behalf of Dan Kaiser, my wife, the First Lady of Las Vegas, Dan D'Amico, and myself, this is the First Family of Las Vegas. This is Joe D. Everyone out there, good luck and have a winning day. Bye.